Hello, trading has closed on April 28th, 2025. We always start with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls and then make our predictions. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, which is April 29th, 2025. Remember, I can change my plan, and my plan can be completely wrong, so trade at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early high. That's this. Tomorrow should also have the early high. We said, let's just review what we said. We had to gap up, maintain a gap up, or else you wouldn't believe any moves we got. We didn't gap up. Still not going to believe it. We closed essentially unchanged. When we do that, I just repeat my call from the previous day. Either you maintain a strong gap up or else we see lower prices regardless of how we close. MEJT said there were a lot of false moves, said none of these moves would stick. They didn't. Said this drop wouldn't stick. Retraced. Said these moves wouldn't stick. And that means this rally, according to the system, is not going to stick. Calls for a 50 handle drop to 54.7827, and unless we gap up smartly, that's my call for tomorrow. We wanted to gap over these lines. We didn't do that. That's pretty clear. So this shouldn't be a move that sticks. We said this move up on Friday wasn't good and we should retrace to this blue line. We came darn close, within a few pennies, and maybe that's close enough, but that's not what usually happens. There's support at the line. But when you come close without hitting it, usually, not always, usually you hit the line anyway, but the support's gone. So if we keep going up, we'll just say it was close enough, but that's not what usually happens. Usually you're going to undercut this low, hit this line, and not find support there. So we're in wave green C. And we have an A and we have a B. It's possible to count this as completing black A of green C. And here's the count. 5 waves up, and this last move is also 5 waves up. So just because that count works doesn't mean something else won't. But that's a perfect count if we start dropping and if this holds, which we don't know until tomorrow. But if we don't gap up, there's a much lower target. Tuesday's pattern has the early high regardless of where we open. Typically it's a bearish day with a low in the final hour. There's a lower MEJT target. Unless we gap up smartly, rules call for it to print. We didn't gap over resistance, which is what the bulls needed to do to keep the rally going. Either we maintain a strong gap up tomorrow, or we should see lower and possibly much lower prices print. Pattern with the early high. Bulls need to gap up. I'm not certain they have it in them because we have a much lower target, 50 handles down. Pattern with the early high. That's today's call.